LEGO's motto is only the best is good enough, and although that might be the case depending on who you ask, there are certain things that LEGO do that really annoy people in the community. And considering we love talking about the things that LEGO could be doing better, I think it'd be cool to talk about 3 of the biggest opportunities that LEGO have missed over the last few years. Now there are so many obvious options like Star Wars not getting minifigures in May the 4th promos, but I think the ones that are more interesting to talk about are the ones where sets have released and they've chosen not to do certain things. You know, like... Now, I've covered this issue loads on my other channel, Tommy C. Bricks, but with LEGO finally exploring the realm of video games, it was only going to be a matter of time before LEGO started partnering with companies like Nintendo. And although, if you ask me, themes like the Zelda set and the Animal Crossing sets do a fantastic job at capturing the essence of the game, the one theme I think needs a massive rework are the Super Mario sets. And the main issue, if you ask me, is this.
Oh no!
The digital figures were a massive surprise to literally everyone when they announced them, and if you ask me, they haven't got any better in recent years. Sets still, after all of these years, still kinda look like trash, and not only that, they're super expensive for what you actually get. A lot of these sets, especially the bigger ones, always look half complete to me, and as we know LEGO always works to a price, it's quite difficult to be given a piece count and a price, and try and make something substantial if your figures are 3 times the size they normally are. And this problem only gets worse with things like the Mario Kart theme that's only just released. Seeing multiple Mario Kart sets that don't include mainline characters kinda sucks if you ask me. And that's because most of the mainline characters have been done in digital form, which is clearly too expensive to give in such a small set. And when I can look across the pond and see Animal Crossing sets doing it, if you ask me, brilliantly, giving memorable locations and minifigures to boot, just makes me look at the Mario Kart theme with even more disgust. Not to mention, Mario doesn't even do this well with their 18+ line. I've said it in the past, there's nothing wrong with having a different theme to the standard child-friendly sets. I mean, look at the Zelda set. They've done it fantastically, including 4 really good minifigures and an incredibly memorable location from the Zelda series, and guess what? It looks great, and I know a bunch of adult fans love the set, regardless of it being a bit pricier than normal LEGO sets. If you ask me, the Mario theme could easily be fixed and kill both 2 birds with 1 stone with the adults buying the sets as well as the kids by including Mario minifigures. We've seen several knockoff companies give it a go, and I'd love to see the quality that LEGO could put into these kind of figures realized in real life. It would make the set so much more substantial because you could build at the correct scale by including minifigures like this. Yes, the new molds would be expensive, but you'd use them so many times throughout the sets that they'd pay for themselves. I said it in one of my previous videos when I talked about the Mario theme, that eventually we will see minifigures. Voting with your wallet is a thing, and clearly these are still selling well enough for LEGO not to do minifigures, but once these sales start drying up, they will pursue the minifigures. And besides, there's definitely a way for LEGO to include play features like sounds into their LEGO sets with minifigures still included, with things like their new sound brick that they've introduced. This is just another way of including more play features, similar to the ones we have with the digital figures, but solving all of your scale problems. Hopefully one day we will get Mario minifigs. Like I say, I just think it's a matter of time. But right now, it's just another one of those missed opportunities. But at least it's not as bad as... You know, one of my favourite conventions to go to is the Great Western LEGO Show. I ended up displaying there and it was lovely to meet everybody who recognised me. But obviously a LEGO convention set inside a train museum is going to have, well, a lot of trains. And being there, it hit me how much opportunity LEGO has missed when it comes to the train market. And speaking to the people who had built these kind of trains, it was abundantly clear that they just took it into their own hands to make the pieces they need to make their trains either functional or just cosmetically look nicer. LEGO used to release train sets all the time, but nowadays it seems to be really limited with what pieces you have available to build things like custom trains. And that's weird to me because most cities include some sort of train line. Like, think about this for a second. The new Orient Express was the first steam train we've ever had to have a dedicated piece made for the piston rods that connect the wheels. And if you want to use that piece for your custom trains, you're not buying the Orient Express for $300, are you? LEGO haven't released that piece anywhere else, so it seems quite backwards to me, almost like LEGO don't want you to build your own custom trains. So a lot of the LEGO train community have incorporated third-party motors and 3D printing into their workflow to make their trains that little bit better. And to show you what I mean, we're going to need a 3D printer. Thankfully, this video is sponsored by Bamboo Lab, a company I have wanted to work with for the longest time. They've sent me their A1 Mini to show off to you guys in this video, and real talk here for the minute, it's hands down the best FDM printer I've ever used. Not only is the quality on point, but it's the smallest printer I've seen that doesn't give up on the build plate size. Meaning if you did want to get into 3D printing, pieces for LEGO, or just 3D printing in general, this is a fantastic starting point. It's small enough that it'll fit into most small gaps, so when you get the inspiration to want to 3D print something, you can literally just send it over and it will get on with it. And because it's got a built-in camera, I can literally check on my print no matter if I'm out and about or just up in the office. But if you've been on this channel for a while, you'll know I love incorporating 3D printing into any project I'm doing. And today is no different because I think the biggest missed opportunity when it comes to trains was this guy. Ask any fan of LEGO trains and they will probably give you a negative reason for this set existing, but for me it's upsetting because I think of all of the missed opportunity with a train theme like this. Not only is it way more to scale with minifigures than people think it is, like
seriously, some people forget how big these things actually are.
But getting more trains like this would only expand the part count. Case in point, these wheels were brand new for this set, but people weren't too happy because these wheels didn't go on regular LEGO track that people have been collecting throughout the years. And I mean, it's understandable, it's a new scale of train, so we should have a new scale of track. But the issue is that LEGO decided to brick build this track because they never thought you'd want to run a train like this. When in reality, I think people were upset because they genuinely would. Believe it or not, there are some crazy people out there that run garden layouts, and I don't think that people would want to not do this with LEGO. So taking a look at the original LEGO track, I took it into some 3D software and I designed my own updated version of it that's specifically designed for this new scale of train. And after unboxing the printer and doing its very minimal setup, I can safely say this is one of the easiest printers that I've ever gotten out the box and is immediately ready to print. It's pretty much just a simple case of removing the foam and you're ready to go. Uploading this prototype into the Bamboo slicer, you can see that I've got a bunch of customization options I can use to get this printing exactly how I want. Now I thought I was going to have to learn a whole new slicer for this, but turns out Bamboo's presets were super simple to pick up and didn't really need to do anything apart from enable supports. As this piece is a prototype to just make sure I got all of my tolerances correct, I'm going to set this to extra draft. I only want to see if the train's going to fit before I go ahead and print a nice one. You can see here that means it's going to take no time at all to get this physically printed out in real life, and the only thing we have to do now is press print. And this is the beauty of 3D printing. Something that just existed in my PC in digital form is now tangible and in my hands. And this prototype is just the beginning. You can see with a few of these prototype pieces printed out and the train on top of it, it fits quite nicely. And now we know that this track works, we can print ourselves some really nice track. And jumping back into Bamboo Studio, I want to try something quite cool. If you didn't know, one of the main appeals of the Bamboo Lab printers is their optional AMS system. And as I got the combo pack of this A1 Mini, I got the AMS light system with it. And basically what this does is it allows you to print off two different colors at once. Meaning if I select that I want these sleepers to be a different color than the rail themselves, then I can do that. And although I don't see LEGO doing dual molded rails anytime soon, because that would just make them way more expensive than they already are, it's something that the 3D printing community can now do. And firing up the A1 Mini with the AMS system, you can see attaching two spools to the printer means the printer knows what spool to take from when printing the item. And changing to standard quality so we get a bit more of a fine print, we could theoretically just keep printing this track until we made ourselves a full layout. But one thing we definitely do have to figure out is turning. You see, one thing I noticed about this set compared to, say, the new Orient Express is that LEGO purposely designed it never to be able to be run on any sort of layout. And the main reason for this is the wheels. You see, any normal train that LEGO produces usually comes with a standard set of wheels, being two flanged wheels and a blind wheel. This blind wheel helps trains go round those really tight LEGO corners and allows it to function in things like cities. Again, it was pretty obvious to me that LEGO never intended for anybody to be running this kind of train, so they never bothered doing that blind wheel in this scale. It just meant another mold to them. And unfortunately, this means that this train will never be able to go around any sort of layout. But then it occurred to me that it's actually a really simple fix so long as you have a 3D printer. I just remodeled the wheel using the measurements from the one that actually exists, and when making the flange of the wheel, I just decided to admit it. I'm firing up the A1 Mini for the final time today, and mesmerizingly watching this thing print layer by layer. Eventually, we have ourselves a wheel. And this wheel should mean that if you did end up printing some sort of curved track, it would be able to run no problem. And the cool thing is, now these wheels exist, you can use the multicolor function to make colored wheels. So literally any kind of train in this sort of mega scale is now suddenly on the table. And you can go even crazier with this, printing different things like funnels, headboards, you name it. The point I'm trying to make here is that LEGO just don't make enough pieces for trains. I'm not even talking these mega style ones. Even regular trains just don't get the same love as something like Speed Champions. I understand that making a new track piece is going to be expensive, but I really do think there is a market for these mega style trains. And if you ask me, it's a massive missed opportunity for LEGO not to include stuff like this, especially when they're experimenting with a new style train like this. Trains like the Orient Express did fix a lot of the issues, but it's just a shame that LEGO couldn't get the most detailed train we've ever had to resonate with the LEGO community as much. I seriously do think that if LEGO decided to introduce new track and new wheels for this type of a scale, people would genuinely be really interested. I just want to throw a massive shout out to Bamboo Lab that has made this section of the video possible. 3D modeling and prop making are some of my favorite pastimes when I'm not doing LEGO stuff, and there's countless free models that people have released that you can easily print at home. Like, take the wheels and the track that I did in this video. If you guys want to use these, tinker with them, or want to end up using them for your own mega trains, go right ahead. All of the files are available over on MakerWorld, and I'll leave a link in the description below to those files as well as the Bamboo Lab website where you can go and pick up one of these A1 minis. It is an affiliate link, I do get a little bit of kickback from it, and non-sponsored segment for a minute here. Take it from a guy who's used many 3D printers over the last like 10 years. These are genuinely some of the best printers I've used. So whether you're wanting to do LEGO stuff or prop making, want to get into the world of 3D printing, then seriously consider a Bamboo Lab printer. But moving on to our last point, I want to talk a little bit about minifigures, and specifically CMFs, and the obvious missing contender when you think about a CMF. That's right, I think the biggest missed opportunity from LEGO is not doing a Star Wars CMF. I haven't met one person that says not doing a Star Wars CMF is a good idea. And I know there are several arguments in the community of why they can or can't make a CMF. From the magazines in Europe getting the figures each month in a magazine, to them giving away or selling random one-off polybags. And although I think there are valid reasons for these minifigures existing, I honestly think the main reason they don't make a Star Wars CMF is because they don't need to. LEGO can just make more money by including CMF-style minifigures in actual sets. We've seen this year with the 25th anniversary figures that LEGO can just shove a random minifigure in a set that has nothing to do with it, and people will flock to the stores to buy them day one. And although I won't complain at us always getting more unique Star Wars CMFs, especially ones that are not heard from very often or just simply have never been made before, I think it's obvious to say that there's opportunity for so many more Star Wars figures to be made in CMF grade quality. I guess it's too early to tell whether they're going to go with this over doing something like a CMF in future, but considering next year is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, I'd be very curious to see whether we get more anniversary minifigures. But what do you guys think? What are the biggest missed opportunities that you see from LEGO? I'd love to know in the comment section below. Thanks again to the patrons that make this type of a video possible, and if you want to see the biggest missed opportunity that you're not doing when it comes to displaying your minifigures, you should click this video and find out what I'm talking about.